path to them. Everything we've seen thus far is the mission appears to be perfect. The satellites were deployed right on target, and the Falcon 9 booster came back and landed. It looks like almost dead center. On the landing pad, and then the upper stage did a coast and then restarted to prove out the coast and restart capability. So it looks like, as far as we can see right now, it was absolutely perfect. So could not have asked for a better mission or a better day. It was really amazing for SpaceX, I think, and actually it means a lot, I think, for the future of launch. So, I'm happy to jump into questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to ask a question, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad, and we'll pause for a moment to compile the Q&A roster. Okay, your first question comes from the line of Bill Harwood.
Thank you. Mr. Musk, one question I've been asked by anchors in New York is, if you can perfect this technology to the point where you can begin actually reusing boosters, can you give us even a sense, realizing no exact numbers are available, just a sense of what that might mean for lowering launch costs? Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Falcon 9 rocket costs about $60 million to build. It's kind of like a big jet. But the cost of the propellant, which is mostly oxygen, and the gases, is only about $200,000. So, that means that the potential cost reduction over the long term is probably in excess of a factor of 100. Thank you.
And your next question comes from the line of Chris Davenport.
Hey, Elon, thanks so much for taking the time to do this, and congratulations. I wanted to ask, how confident were you leading up to the launch today that you'd be able to pull off the landing? Thanks.
My personal probability, a lot of people asked me that before the flight, and I thought we had probably about a 60% chance of success, maybe 70%. There's just so many things that have to go right, and it's an incredibly complex set of maneuvers that the booster has to make, because it's sort of flying away from the pad at 5,000, in this case, 5,000 kilometers an hour. In the upcoming flights, it'll be going 8,000 or 9,000 kilometers an hour, or roughly 5,000 miles an hour in the wrong direction. So it has to deploy the upper stage, do a U-turn, contain the propellant without centrifuging. The U-turn has to be done with boosters because it's in a vacuum, with nitrogen attitude thrusters because it's in a vacuum. It has to be done quite rapidly, and then restart to boost back, in this case, in a ballistic arc to Cape Canaveral, which was quite a scary maneuver, and then deploy the hypersonic grid fin, maneuver from hypersonic through supersonic, subsonic, and then finally to light the engine for landing. I ran out on the causeway to just sort of watch the landing, and the sonic boom reached me about the same time as the rocket touched down. So I actually thought at first that it had exploded, but it turned out to be just that the sonic boom almost exactly coincided with the touchdown point, so that the sound reached me several seconds later. So at first I thought, well, at least we got close. but then I went back into launch control, and there was this amazing video of the rocket still standing there on the launch pad, or landing zone, I should say. So
comes from the line of Stephen LaFark.
Did you guys identify what outlet you're from at the earth?
Hi, this is Stephen Clark from Spaceflight Now. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Elon, thanks for doing the call. I was just wondering what your plan is for this particular booster over the coming days and weeks, and do you intend to fly it again? Thanks.
Yeah. So the plan is to take the booster over to Launch Complex 39A. That's the Apollo 11 launch site that we are leasing from NASA here at the Cape, and do a static fire on the launch pad there. So confirm that all systems are good and that we're able to do a full thrust hold down firing of the rocket. And then I think we'll probably keep this one on the ground, just because it's kind of unique. It's the first one that we've brought back. So I think we'll probably keep this one on the ground and just confirm through tests that it could fly again, and then put it somewhere to just for, because it's quite unique. So
headquarters.
I think we'll end up reflying one of the subsequent boosters. We have quite a big flight manifest, and we should be doing well over a dozen flights next year. But I think probably, but before, sometime next year, we would aim to refly one of the rocket boosters.
And your next question comes from the line of James Dean.
Hi, thanks, Elon, congratulations. Can you try to put this event in historical context? Where do you think it ranks?
I think this is quite significant. It's difficult to say exactly where it would rank, but I do think it's a revolutionary moment. No one has ever brought a booster, an orbital class booster back intact, and this is something that was actually, it was like a useful mission. It delivered 11 satellites to orbit, and then came back and landed. I think that's perhaps the thing that's really significant, that we achieved recovery of the rocket in a mission that actually deployed 11 satellites. This is a fundamental step change in technology compared to any other rockets that has ever flown. If you read the blog post that I wrote, I sort of penned it quite hastily just before the launch, while we're going through the countdown. That I think would give some good context. This is a boost stage capable of basically hurling 125 tons at over 5,000 miles an hour, which is an incredible amount of energy to transfer to a payload. So, this is really a world of difference compared to other rockets. It would be like having an aircraft that can be used many times when all the other aircraft in the world can be used once.
How confident are you? Could you touch on how challenging you think it will be to get a reflight accomplished?
I think it will be straightforward, actually. because we've done multiple full duration firing of the boost stage on the ground. We fired the stage. Including all of the engine restarts that had to occur while it was in space, and then coming back for landing. I think we must have, and then during the engine acceptance testing, I think we've effectively fired the engines now. Depending on which engine it is, between maybe 10 to 15 times. So, doing another batch like that would not be a problem. We see no degradation.
Forgive me for jumping in again, but are you talking about reflying the Merlins as well, or just the stage?
The recent whole stage.
Everything. Okay. Thank you.
Whole booster, yeah. I think it's very important to refly the whole rocket. I think the sort of aircraft, or really any other mode of transport analogy, is appropriate here. You can imagine if a company was making aircraft that could be flown many times or another company was making aircraft that could be flown once, or even if most of the aircraft could be flown many times, but some of it was single use. Like, if someone kept the engines but threw away the airframe, that really wouldn't count.
And again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. And your next question comes from the line of Scott Powers.
Elon, congratulations, first of all. While the landing was certainly remarkable for everybody, and you're excited for that, the launch itself must have also brought some emotions to you, say what happened last time. Can you describe what you were going through as it went out, and at what point you thought you're back in business?
Well, after liftoff, I ran outside the launch control center, went to the causeway to watch the ascent. And I was just wishing to all the faith that it would just make it to orbit. And I think that would have been a good day, quite frankly, if we'd just been that. And then, I was in touch with the rest of the crew in launch control, and they would sort of give me updates on the flight. And then I watched the booster come back in, light its engine, and land. It really felt like it was almost right on top of us, even though it was maybe 3 or 4 miles away. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the sonic boom, just sound. Sound only travels at about 1,000 kilometers an hour. The sonic boom reached me just as the rocket touched down, so I thought it had exploded at first, and then I went from launch control now that it was okay. So that's pretty much what happened.
Thank you very much.
Your next question comes from the line of Keith Coing.
Keith Cowing, AskTheWatch.com. Hey, Elon, I just want to let you know I've seen a spaceship named Falcon take off and land twice today. Once in the movie theater, once on my screen, so thanks for that. So what, if I could, I'd still Hardwood's earlier question. How do you expand upon having a rocket, like you said, that you can reuse? At some point, where do you amortize the number of flights? At some point, do you have an engine that's sort of just worth the cost of launching at cost for somebody? Have to really plan that out yet, or you just wait to see how many of these you actually get back?
Well, I think that we're going to get quite a few rockets back, so I imagine we're going to have a whole fleet of booster rockets accumulating quite rapidly, because we're building them right now at about 1 every 3 weeks. So there's really going to be more than 99%. I mean, it's going to be very close to, asymptotically approaching 100%, I think, over time. And then we'll figure out how to make the reuse as easy as possible, so that really no work is required between reuse, apart from refilling the propellant tank. So I think we'll have to. It'll mostly take us a few years to iron all that out and make sure it all works well. But I think it works very well for the future. And I think this is a critical step along the way toward being able to establish a city on Mars. Because I think quite vital to that goal, the reusability of open-class rocket. It's really fundamental to the goal. Without which it would cost. It would really be unaffordable. There would be a difference between something costing less than 1% of economic output to costing 100% of economic output. So it's all the difference in the world. Absolutely fundamental. And I think it really quite dramatically improves my confidence that the demo is possible. That's all it's about.
And your next question comes from the line of Eric Berger.
Hello, congratulations, Elon. I wonder maybe you could talk a little bit about what you were thinking tonight. You didn't do this in the desert, kind of in the, no one's watching. You had the world watching, and you started landing, and I'm just kind of wondering the kind of pressure you felt like before it came down, and then what it felt like as you saw it and saw the reaction of people online and at your company headquarters.
I haven't had much chance to look at things online. It's been a very positive atmosphere at SpaceX. People are really overjoyed. It's been 13 years since SpaceX started, and many close calls. Obviously, we had some good results with rocket test rig, the Grasshopper test rig in Texas, with the planes there. And we did, although we didn't make much, we didn't make a big deal of it. We did stop land the rocket in the water twice. And those were very high velocity missions. I think in one case exceeding the 300 gigajoule kinetic energy transfer and an altitude of about 200 kilometers. So we did do that twice, but we just didn't do it in the show press release. So the videos on YouTube. We just didn't make a big deal of it. And so it really didn't. I wasn't at all confident that was going to see something really fast.
Okay, this is going to be the last question.
All right, great questions. I'm open for that.
Okay, Leanne, we'll do one more, please, real quick.
Yes, your next question comes from the line of Terrence Malik.
Hello, Elon. Thank you so much for doing this. My main question has to do with the next booster now, the Falcon Heavy. I'm just wondering how much of this successful landing can be applied now or scaled up to that Heavy rocket, and what's your confidence? Does it boost your confidence for that even larger booster too? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Falcon Heavy essentially consists of Falcon 9 with two modified boost stages attached as strap-on boosters. So it would be that would be quite an exciting aerial ballet with the two side boosters dropping off more than double that of Falcon 9. So it's probably maximum transfer energy of pushing a terajoules. Okay, thank you. I'm LC1, thanks everyone.
Great, thanks everyone. You can hit us up at media@spaceflights.com if you have any follow-up. Have a good night.
This does conclude tonight's conference call. You may now disconnect.